My name is Fiona. We are Group 9 and we will be presenting about pop art. My name is Ray.
I am Raining.
I'm Iwei.
I'm Yiling.
So, what is pop art? Pop art is an art movement that emerged in the United Kingdom and the United States during the mid to late 1950s, and it peaked in the 1960s. The movement presented a challenge to a tradition of fine art, including imagery from popular and mass culture, such as advertising, comic books, and mundane, mass-produced objects. And pop artists were called this because they made art about popular things, which is basically everything in pop culture at that time. The specific term pop art first appeared in the article Today We Collect Ants in 1956 and then officially introduced to America in 1962.
US and UK were quite different in the concept of pop art. Pop art in US was the direct result of the American dream, a very central idea in the American identity at the time, and was a return to compositions described as hard-edged, using mundane reality, popular culture, irony, and sarcasm, generally being bolder in colors and techniques. Pop art in the UK, however, started out with a more academic vision, and focused primarily on the imagery of American popular culture, viewing it from a somewhat removed perspective, often instilling it with romantic, sentimental, and humorous overtones.
And what they have in common is both of them focus on popular culture, irony, and humor to comment on social issues and cultural phenomena. But I think the most important is for art prioritize strong visual effect. Then let's move to important characters in pop art. In US, the leading figures of pop art is Andy Warhol. This is Andy Warhol. Then is Roy Lichtenstein, Jasper Jones, Jane Rosenquist, Robert Rosenberg, Ray Johnson, Tom Vermeer. This US one. And UK part, the independent group is Eduardo Palazzi, John Michael, Frank Cordell, Peter Smithson, David Courtney, Ellen Jones, Derek Boucher, and so on. Then we will start our individual presentation now.
First of this is Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol is one of the leading figures in the pop art movement, and he is also considered one of the most important American artists of the second half of the 20th century. His art style is characterized by vibrant colors, bold imagery, incorporation of commercial and consumer culture. He often used silk screen printing, which allows him to create multiple versions of the same image and emphasizing on mass production. In the 1950s, he actually initially pursued a career in commercial art and graphic design before focusing on pop art. In the 1960s, he has his breakthrough with his iconic silk screen prints, Marilyn Monroe and Campbell soup cans. These silk screen prints challenged the distinction between high art and commercial culture. Besides his silk screen prints, he is also known for The Factory, his studio in Manhattan, New York City. It is a gathering place for creatives consisting of artists, musicians, and cultural figures. The place is to foster a collaborative and experimental atmosphere. Next is his experimental films. His avant-garde films such as Chelsea Girls and Sleep, which push the boundaries of traditional cinema. Next is his view on celebrity culture, which he explored themes of fame and consumerism, capturing the allure and superficiality of celebrity life. He has his famous quote, "In the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes." Warhol's influence endures in contemporary art, fashion, and popular culture, cementing his status as an iconic figure. Here are some of his notable works. The first one, 5 Days, 11 Times in Orange. It is one of Andy Warhol's most celebrated death and disaster paintings. 5 Days in Orange shows the bloody aftermath of a fatal automobile accident, containing within its brightness the power and purpose of Warhol's use of imagery. Grab turned the vehicle, flipped over on a country road, and Thomas stripped with the beams inside its metal structure. And out of this mangle of metal and bodies, however, two other figures emerged, bloody and in obvious shock, as they crawl away from their lifeless companions. Next is the shadow. Andy Warhol, the shadow from the Myths released in 1981, features the artist's self-portrait. On the right of the composition, the viewer sees Warhol's face, bathed in washes of debris. The rest of the composition shows Warhol's shadow in a contrasting cool blue. The light source comes in harshly from the right, which highlights the artist's profile. The use of color blocking further accentuates the difference between Warhol himself and his shadow. The placement of the artist's face and the direction his shadow is facing gives the viewer a sense of split self or another persona. Next is the Scream, Name of the Monk. The original art piece is an expressionist construction based on Monk's actual experience of a scream piercing through nature while on a walk. However, Warhol enhanced the emotional content and concentrated instead on the work as a symbol of popular culture. This current painting shows a deep grey sky and pink water, contrasted with the bright red outlines and a ghastly blue figure. This is a glimpse of his perception of the world, filled with synthetic colors, psychedelic revelry, and ultimately a compelling after-metaphor of a world turned upside down. Here are some of Warhol's other works, consisting of advertisement posters, designs, and silkscreen prints. Funny multiple: Mickey, Campbell's Soup cans, maroon diptych, and shoe advertisement for iMother. Next, I will be passing on to Raining to talk about our next artist.
I'm Raining, and the artist I'm presenting about is Roy Lichtenstein. Roy Lichtenstein was born in 1923 and died in 1997. He was one of US leading figures in the pop art movement. Roy Lichtenstein grounded his career in imitation, defining the premise of pop art through parodies. He described pop art as not American painting, but actually industrial painting. Although widely known as a painter, Lichtenstein also dabbled in different medias like sculptures, murals, prints, and ceramics, and even had a brief stint in film. Lichtenstein began his first pop paintings using cartoon images and techniques derived from commercial printing during the 1960s. He incorporated the look of mechanical printing into fine art using Benday dots, reducing the color palette to saturated primaries, heightening contrast, and eliminating incidental details. Lichtenstein was also the first American to exhibit at London's Tate Gallery. Here are some of Lichtenstein's notable works. Wham! One of his two notable war theme works, used onomatopoeic lettering to heighten its cartoon style. Drowning Girl was painted using oil and Magna paint, and was appropriated from DC Comics Secret Hearts number 83 by Tony Abruzzo. Look Mickey was Lichtenstein's first work to feature the use of Benday dots, speech bubbles, and comic imagery. Lichtenstein also added irony to the image, where Donald Duck says he hooked a big one, when in reality, he actually hooked himself, effectively calling himself the Big One. His most expensive art is Masterpiece, selling for $165 million in 2017 and was regarded as Lichtenstein's greatest retrospective. Here are some of his works from other series. On the left is Lichtenstein's only 3 works from his brief stint in film that I mentioned earlier. The long image on the right, however, is from his Landscapes in the Chinese Style series, one of his last paintings before his death. Here are some trivia about Lichtenstein. In summer 1939, Lichtenstein worked under the tutelage of Reginald Marsh when he enrolled in summer classes at the Art Students League. He served the army during and after World War II, and later returned to his studies and graduated Masters in Fine Arts from Ohio State University in 1949. Lichtenstein had his first solo exhibition at Carlebach Gallery in 1951 before he began doing pop art, and his first one-man show in 1962 in Castelli Gallery. 2 years after his death, the Roy Lichtenstein Foundation was established, with Lichtenstein's youngest son as its president.
It's my time to introduce Kate Haring. Haring is a great artist with only 32 years alive on the world, and his full name is Kate Ellen Haring. He's a prominent American artist and a key figure in the 1980s pop art movement. In his early life, about his education, I think he's a very opinionated person because at first he went to a commercial art school in hometown where Haring quickly realized that he didn't want to be an illustrator or a graphic designer because he found that the person who do this job looks so unhappy, so he quickly quit the school. And in 1978, he moved to the New York City and took admission at the School of Visual Arts SVA and started his career in products. He mainly got inspired by the beauty and spontaneity of the graffiti of the downtown streets and the subway. He deeply influenced by themes of social justice like areas awareness, LGBTQ rights, anti-apartheid activism. And here is some trivia of Haring. In 2014, he was one of the inaugural honorees in the Rainbow Honor Award in San Francisco. This means someone made significant contribution in LGBTQ fields, and in 2019, he was one of the inaugural 50 American pioneers, trailblazers, and heroes inducted on the National LGBTQ Wall of Honor. Why is he so passionate about LGBTQ? Because he is gay and he wants to speak up for homosexuality, and obviously he succeeded. Then let's move to his art style. Haring known for his bold graffiti inspired style with thick outlines, vibrant colors, and recurring motifs. In Haring's artwork and iconography, symbolism and imagery, we often see dancing figures, hearts, barking dogs. These three items often appeared in his work. Then he often creating murals and public art in subway stations or city streets. This makes his work both impactful and widely recognized. Here is the work of Haring in public. Okay, and next one is artwork. His notable artwork. Then I will talk about this artwork along the timeline. The first one is Untitled. It's a vibrant piece showcase dynamic human figures, reflecting that themes like movement, unity, and life choice. This shows people moving, symbolizing energy and life, and it highlights how the humans are connected. And second one is Barking Dogs. It's a barking dog that shows power. It looks simple, but it can feel fun but also serious, hinting that somebody at control or unfair treatment. And the dog, as a symbol of warning, suggests the awareness of one's surrounding is greater in the traveling world. The third one is Crack His Way. Crack His Way is the most famous work of Haring. It's a mural warning about drug dangers. Even though Haring was arrested for it, it became a famous anti-drug symbol at the time, and it can still be seen today on the retaining wall along FDR Drive in Manhattan. And then here is some other words of Haring: Ignorance, Equal Fear, Radiant Baby, and Space Buddies. Space Buddies is one of his last work because we know that he died in 1990 because AID. Okay, Haring has also collaborated with Uniqlo, so I believe you must have some impression of his work when you go shopping. Okay, that's all for Haring. Let's move to next artist.
Next is the Romero Brito, born in Brazil in 1963. He is the founder of the Happy Art movement. His work exhibited in gallery and museum over 120 countries. He was the first artist to present his work as a Maya Museum. The first characteristic is vibrant color. He used bright colors and bold lines to create the sense of joy and energy. The second one is playful pattern. He used geometric shapes, stripes, and polka dots to make the works as a whimsical quality. The third one is joyful tones. His art sending message of love, happiness, and positivity. Next is cubist influence. He combines elements of cubism, break down the forms, and is assembling it in playful manner. Next is mixed media. He always uses various materials and techniques like painting, sculpture, printmaking to enhance the texture and visual interest. Next is iconic characters. His art mostly based on various characters and animals like hearts, butterflies, and abstracted human forms. Next is commercial appeals. He always makes the product scope from fashion to home decor. The first artwork is Mona Cake. This artwork is inspired by Leonardo da Vinci's famous, which is Mona Lisa. The cake features with bright colors, a cheerful expression face. The background around the cake filled with lucky design make the art look like energy and fun. The second one is Little Heart. This artwork presents love and warmth through vibrant color and beautiful patterns. The characters with a big smile and outstretched arms surrounded by many types of shapes and bright colors. Next is the Latin Grammy. This artwork presents the Latin music and celebration. The older woman with a warm smile and colorful paintings. It used the bold outlines and geometric shapes to create a sense of movement and rhythm. His art also collaboration with big brands like Disney, Fabrics, Casher, Hubler, Monopoly, Pizza, Barbie, Coca-Cola, and so on. In conclusion, pop art resonates with us because it captures the spirit of its time while still feeling relevant today. Its celebration of popular culture and commentary on consumption encourage us to question our surroundings in the ordinary. As art, pop art is different from traditional art. Unlike art from before, pop art can be found in public areas, plain and easy to understand, though in the world of art. While pop art is the art of popular culture at the time, it attracted attention and received criticism. But even so, pop art still managed to go out way till the modern times. Thank you.